Hey, good morning, everyone. I have a confession to make. I don't know if I followed my own priority discussion yesterday, and I shared that today, but I also have an entrepreneur. Oh, classic dev issue, classic business concern. When does something that you're working on go from a jump from being a hobby to a real thing, right? And that's one of the complex about prioritization, uh, getting code to market, stop tinkering with code, putting on artificial deadlines like the end of a sprint, things like that. Yesterday really hit me hard yesterday. I want to share a little bit of that discussion and how confessing that I'm human and jumping into that world. Is it real or is it just a hobby? It's a tough thing to do, and how it also plays a role in what we do for our customers and ourselves. So this is the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And here we talk about Scrum and Agile in a very practical and tactical way. Maybe a little confession on my part as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a coach, as an Agile person. So my own advice, taking my own advice sometimes, hopefully more often than not. That would be pretty sucky if I didn't take my own advice. There's a lot of people out there that don't, though. And we do this so we can have fun and enjoy life and enjoy what we do. So yesterday we did a show, talked about Alex Ramosi talked about priorities, setting priorities in life, like moving stuff out of the way, don't do emails. If this is your priority, then make it your priority, make it really true. And then part of it came into a question. I got a call the other day from a colleague that I hired to help take one of my hobbies to the next level, because I realized I didn't have enough time to create it, make it look really nice. I have a ton of websites that are underneath my server. Some are out there, some are not. Some are just partial what if drills would exist. And I've been really toying with this a lot lately. So there's this one site that I had someone I saw in the community that was doing stuff that was similar to what I was doing in a way, or it looked like he had interest in it. Paid the money to revamp the site, because I do pay money for people to do stuff. I just don't ask for favors all the time. And he came back to me and says, well, I got it all done. It's all ready to go. We can go live whenever. He says to me, he says, how about if we do it on my server and put it on there? I have all this stuff to be able to collect, donations and all this kind of stuff. And there's for one, just I'm seeing what he does. I'm really taking one of my things and say, try this. And the question was, is it real? Are we really going to collect donations? You're going to make it the professional thing that sustains in itself, or is it not? And he was thinking when he asked the question, he was worried that I wasn't happy with the work he did. And I was, and with everything, there's always difference on different little nitpicky things here and there, different thought process, but that's okay. It's close enough to where I want it. And I wasn't picking on his work. My mind was, holy crap, this is a decision that has to be made. Or is this really a priority? Is this a priority in my life? Is this something I really want to get out there and bring it to the public and make it something real? And for a second there, I'm just stopped in my tracks, to be honest with you. This is what real decision making and priority. You say, oh, Greg, it's no big deal. It is really hard. I have to admit it. There's times like I'm doing this. This is 999th episode of this show. I am just now rolling out my coaching program for people, right? It's a long time. I've done presentation stuff. I'm setting up capabilities for people that I coach and people I know, and something growing with the meetup.com. That's going to be the next thing that's going to professionally grow into a real thing. Right now, it's just kind of people want to do this and that, but we're going to make it a real thing. It's going to be real. It's time to jump the shark, as they used to say from the Happy Days, right? Kind of jump the shark. See what happens. What could happen? Who cares, right? If anything goes, if it doesn't really work, then it's the same as it was before. If I don't try it, we'll never know, right? It's like releasing code, releasing product, scaling product. A lot of times, development teams, I'll be honest with you, in businesses, they don't know, and they're scared to death to put something out on the street. They're so worried about stuff that never gets out there. I've seen companies and people do stuff for years and it's not going out and it's not getting in front of the hands of the customer. And why? It is this fear of actually going from a hobby where I'm tinkering with the software to actually going out there in the hands of a customer, having somebody else try your stuff that you created besides yourself. You know everything there is to know about it, but you have no idea what the person on the other side is going to react to it. And it's very tough to do. And I'm gonna and while we're doing this, I'm gonna put the banner up there. I'll put certifications up. It's like certifications. So right now the banner is going across certifications. You can go out there and get all the certifications you want. I, when one point, was going to get 5 degrees. I figured out I was going to get a college ring on each one of my fingers when I was in my 20s. And then I realized, what am I doing? Kind of crazy. I could have, but I didn't want to. But it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at the time. But you can get certifications like the certifications rolling across the board all day long. But until you apply the certification, until you do it, until you step out and become that professional in that certification, you're just doing a hobby. You're just collecting certs. Question is what you're applying. And one of the things in my coaching program, which I'm kind of printing out there right now, is I try to get people to apply what they get in those certs. Give them opportunities to apply. Give them opportunities to experiment. So they get past that fear barrier of saying, yes, I'm a Kanban expert. Yes, I'm a Scrum expert. I can be an agile coach. I can do this. I can present. I can do that. And one of my things in my programs is trying to bring all that stuff together for people. But in my own confession was the priority question. It was a deeper question than just, oh, what's the priority on the backlog we're going to work today, which is important because I'm doing that with the current client a lot of. But it's more about, what is the priority in your life? Is this real or is this a hobby? Like I said, I got like 20 websites that are hobbies that I have out there that shares information. The question is, do you take it to the next level and make it into a real thing? That is the tough one. And I was dealing with that yesterday when the guy asked the question, well, was this going to be real? We're really going to collect donations and set it up, and make it legit and do all this other stuff? Or is it just a hobby? And you got to make those decisions. Those decisions are hard. And I just wanted to confess to that the confession is, I was working on my customer and the one thing I wanted to do, got a call, which I picked up for something that wasn't on the list of things I wanted to do that day, but I was agile enough to realize the impact of that call and aware enough that says, okay, yes. So what I did was I set up that decision to allow somebody else to then scale what I was working on to, it's not just me, it was somebody else. So by taking that call, I doubled my output with a simple yes. Well, a big yes. It wasn't a simple yes, but yes, let's do it. And in my mind, I was just, what are the bad, the good, the bad, the good, the bad. I made the decision. Oh no. Yeah, I could do it. I can survive it no matter what. It's going to take more work for me. And I know I have to put stuff aside and do everything, formalize everything, do all the business work, do all the incorporation paperwork, do all the 501(c) stuff, get all that stuff together. I've done it before. I'm doing it now. Is it that much harder to do another one? It can be. I'll tell you that right now. It ain't easy. But you have to make those decisions, right? So my confession is, I had a tough time making that call. I had a tough time prioritizing that work. I had a tough time prioritizing what I had there and do the other thing. But once a decision was made, it was off on its own, right? Doing its thing. And then I went back to do what I was doing. So sometimes you have to deviate from that. Oh, it's all or nothing. I'm only going to do this thing, and nothing ever comes along. There are times when stuff comes along and you have to make a decision. Is this going to be a multiplication factor of what I'm doing? Or is it just screwing around? Like doing some little stuff, checking emails, doing connections, whatever on LinkedIn, interacting with people. Is that a multiplication factor? Maybe not. There's times I want to do that, and I do that a lot. I always congratulate people for getting new promotions and certifications and just welcome them to the community. I do that a lot. But I just wanted to share that not everyone's perfect. Nothing's perfect. There's not some perfect opportunity. When is apply? Sometimes you have to get past that. When do I scale? When do I release? When do I give my product to the customer? And then I noticed what my decision, my fear factor was about going out. And I'm out there. It's out there. The stuff's out there. But really scaling it to the next level of the game is the same, maybe one of the same, not assuming it is, but I'm going to say maybe one of the contributing factors of why our teams don't release code out as much, why the businesses don't release code as much. Yeah, it may not be their own thing, but it is their responsibility. And they're so worried about the reaction to it that they hesitate. And this is something we have to get past from an agile mindset. Yes, there's going to be factors. Yes, there's going to be worries. Yes, there could be problems down the road. But in an agile mindset, you have to get past that. And what we try to do in an agile Scrum world is we create this artificial boundaries like in a sprint time box to force you sometimes to have to make that decision. You know what? Let's go. We got to go live. Let's going to go with what we have. We're not going to keep putting it off. It is what it is. Go, right? Some people like, oh, artificial boundaries are not. Sometimes we need those forcing mechanisms to get us to make those decisions, to get us to release what we have to the customers, because we have to get past our own fears, our own hesitations to do that. So today was really a confession of doing stuff and my mindset, but it really does apply to what we do from a business standpoint. Look at all the safe stuff. People trash safe. Look, things I like about safe, things I don't like about safe. I really don't like the way sometimes companies implement safe and how they use an excuse to delay stuff. Getting out there and trying stuff, they beat it to a pulp. We build these giant development engines of people and resources to develop something, but we spend a year or two figuring out on the front end whether or not we should do it, and then we tell these teams to do it in like 6 months. But we spent years deciding whether or not we really should do it or not, and then we wonder why we lose money. But yeah, those are those indecisions. That whole front end is an indecision. The ability to make a decision to go do it, and then make that your priority to release it, get it out there, get it in the hand of the customers, and find out if it works. So that's my confession that sometimes, I did follow it. I did allow something to get into my priority from the other day, but I think it was a good thing. I think it gets me to the next level of scaling. So when you do violate that principle of what is your priority, and you're going to let something in there, you have to make the decision. Is this item that I'm letting into my priority that I set for the day, the one or two things that I'm going to do during the day, is that going to scale my business? Is going to scale my operation? Is it going to allow us to get to the next level? Or is this just another thing to do? If it's just another thing that you do, don't let it in. But if it's going to scale it, if it's going to get it to the next level, to releasing your code, getting into the customer, then you really might want to think about it. It may be something you have to do. Is it just a decision you got to make, and then other people can take it and run with it? You have to think about that. Sometimes those things have to jump into that priority list. So my confession is I had 2 things I wanted to do yesterday. I let a third thing into my window. Actually, I let a fourth thing into my window too today, but I'm going to do that today. It wasn't more than a 5-second email, but yeah, it came in two. Actually had 2 things that got into my priority window, and I have to really think about that. What I'm going to do? I just realized that was another screw up I got today. It wasn't a screw up. I got to do it, but it's delaying what I really need to be done. Anyway, I'm ranting. I'm rolling. But think about it. There's a lot of fear out there. You got to go through it. You got to break through it. Agile mindset helps you break through those fear barriers to get stuff to the customer so you can make money, so you can scale your business, so you can profit. Hopefully, sometimes you'll fail. That's also part of agile learning and failing things. Some things don't work, but you can collect all those certifications like I got rolling about there. And I think we're way over time. Yes, we are. We're at the 16-minute mark. It's a long show. Me ranting. So I'm going to let it go. Tomorrow is our 1000th episode. Holy crap. I don't know what I'm going to do. I had to figure that out. Oh, boy. I had lots of ideas. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, take care, everyone. Have a great day. Happy scrumming. If you have questions, I have the Slack channel, or you can send me a note, connect at 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. You can send me a note on LinkedIn. If you need help walking through decisions, and this is what also a coach does, feel free to message me. I don't have a problem. I can give you my mentoring advice if you want, my decisions as an entrepreneur, someone who's coached lots of teams, been there, done that. Be happy to share it with you. And if it helps you out, that's great. With that, have a great day. Happy scrumming. And we will see you tonight on the Tuesday night program where we talk about the jobs and the job postings. So that's coming out tonight. Take care, everyone. Bye. And we're way over our 15-minute. We're at 17:17. Take care.